Hi. Hello, everybody. Right. I'm just giving it a few minutes or a few seconds um, before I start. We have people joining us on YouTube, on Facebook, and on Instagram. Unfortunately, we couldn't get to connect to LinkedIn. We've tried as much as we could. You know how these things go, technology glitches here and there, but it's not going to stop us. So hopefully our LinkedIn followers can join us on either YouTube or on Facebook so that they don't miss out on this training. Oh, thank you. Someone is watching from Hatfield, United Kingdom. Oh, wow. Thank you. Thank you for joining us. Thank you. We appreciate it. So just what's the time now? It's 7 o'clock prompt. 7. Yeah, we promised to come here live by 7 and we are here. Okay, so I'm just going to give it a few seconds to see how many more people join, and then we start off. Right. Before we start, so how was your day? I hope you had a great day. And I hope it was everything that you wanted it to be. Right. For me, I had a great day. I had to take a lot of time during the day to read, to reflect, and just, prepare for tonight. Mm. And then, of course, also had some fun in between and some rest in between. Always necessary, is always necessary. Okay, right. So I'm going to start this off immediately so that we don't have this, we don't, drag the video. We don't want it to be too long. We want as many people as possible to be able to connect and enjoy the training without it having to drag on for too long. What I can say is that we may have to break this training into two parts because it's quite long. So we're going to have the first part tonight, and then we would announce another day for the second part. All right. And hope you enjoy it. Okay, so here it is. So um I had to, really think about this very seriously and think about what really is important and what do people need at this time, especially if you're a business owner, if you're an employer. This training is really for you, and I believe it would be very beneficial for you as well. So we're talking about leadership, and the angle we're going to take it tonight is on leadership styles. So we're going to look at different leadership styles and look at what fits and what does not fit, what kind of style you can use to, be more effective as a business owner or as an employer. Right. Now, it's also important for us to note that when we're talking about leadership, right, there is no one size fit all approach. Okay, it's important for us to note that there is no one size fit all when we're looking at leadership approaches. But, real leaders adopt the style that will fit each unique situation and circumstance. So in other words, what that means is that real leaders look around their situation, look around their circumstances, and they're able to shift and adopt, different approaches at different circumstances and at different situations, to get the best results, to achieve the best results. Now, in looking at leadership styles, we're going to look at some of the leadership styles that was developed by a psychologist named Kurt Lewin. Hi, Oken. Okay, Spice, thank you for joining us. So, like I said, we're going to be looking at the leadership styles that was developed by a psychologist named Kurt Lewin, and he developed these different styles in the 1930s, right? So let's take a look at some of the styles or approaches that he talked about. So the first I will be talking about tonight is the autocratic leaders. Now, autocratic leaders basically make decisions without consulting their team. I mean, they don't have to seek your opinion, even when that's input or your opinion, even when it is useful. But an autocratic leader does not care whether, that input is useful or not. He just goes ahead and makes decisions without consulting his team, right? Now, we're also going to look at, when we're talking about these styles, we're also going to look at the pros and the cons so that we understand that it's not all bad and it's not all good. So at the end of the day, we can make a decision and decide what style that we can go with, right? Now, for the autocratic leaders, in this kind of circumstances, it can work if you want to make a very quick decision, a really, really quick decision, and you don't require your team's input. Then that's when it can work, right? But the danger in it is that you end up demoralizing your team, right? Because your team begin to look at themselves like, oh, so basically, what am I doing here? Why am I needed in this organization if my opinion or my input is not regarded in any form? And this can bring about low motivation for your team. And of course, you begin to see a lot of absenteeism, a lot of excuses will come up. Oh, I'm sick, or I can't, people, your staff will call in sick and all of that because they have low motivation for the job. They don't see themselves as part of your business or as part of the organization. They feel like their opinions are not needed, their input is not necessary. So they don't see themselves fitting into that organization. And ultimately, what you will get is staff turnover. So you see a lot of staff come and go. That's the downside of, adopting this style, autocratic leadership style. Now, the next style we will talk about is the democratic leaders. Now, especially in an organization, it sounds really good. It sounds interesting, right? When you hear about democratic leaders. But you know what? Ultimately, the final decision still rests on the leader himself, right? So even though in an autocratic leadership style, he is involving his entire team in the decision-making process, right? So he's listening to everybody make their inputs. He's listening to everybody's opinion and all of that. But at the end of the day, the final decision rests on his shoulders. But the beautiful thing about this leadership style is that it will encourage creativity amongst your team. Okay? and you have a lot of high engagement, especially when you have projects running. So you're going to, see your team highly engaged in that project. Everybody wants to do their best. Everybody is working hard because they feel like they are part and parcel of this organization. So they would naturally, put in their best. Now, you're going to have high job satisfaction if you adopt this type of leadership style. Um, you're going to have high productivity as well. But then the downside to it is that it slows down decision making, especially when you need to make a really quick decision, right? So it slows down that decision process. But if it's not needed, you don't need a quick decision to make and all that, then it's a good leadership style to adopt. Now, the next one is the laissez-faire. Is a French word, laissez-faire. So this laissez-faire actually means freedom. Is a French word meaning freedom. Now, it gives your team members the freedom on how they can work, and they set their own deadlines. It's crazy, right? But it works. Imagine giving your team the freedom, the autonomy, you know, to work as they want and set their own deadlines. Just imagine that for 1 second, right? Now, this can also lead to high job satisfaction. When teams can make their own decisions, can set their own deadlines and their own targets. They feel part and parcel of that organization. However, it can be damaging if team members are not managing their time well, especially in a situation where you have a team that is not very disciplined, right? Or a team that does not have integrity, or a team that feels like, oh, ooh, I have the freedom to do whatever I want, so it can be damaging. It can be really damaging. And you also risk having teams that are not strategic. Um, they don't apply their knowledge, or they don't, some other team members can hide within the team, especially team members who have no knowledge at all about what they're doing. They can hide, within that circle, and, just think that they can get away with anything. Um, it can also bring about low self motivation to do their work effectively, especially when they feel like, oh, after all, I can set my own target. So, you know, there's no drive, right, to be their best, to put in their best and all that. But then on the flip side, it can also work for your if your team is really disciplined, then it can work. The next or the last leadership style that we'll be looking at tonight, just so we don't make this video, very long, is the transformational leadership style. Now, for me, I particularly love this because it's you would see by the time we finish talking about it, you understand why I really like it. And the interesting thing is that this particular leadership style is not very much talked about, in the general circle, or in the general scheme of things, is not really talked about. But transformational leaders have integrity, right? And they have emotional intelligence. So they can balance both, being a leader and also being in between. So a transformational leader has the ability to step forward and step back when he needs to. So, in other words, step forward, he's being a leader at that point, and then he also has the ability to step back where he takes a seat and then allow his team to lead. Now, he motivates people with a shared vision. So basically, a transformational leader would transmit his vision to you, to his team. He would share his vision with the team. He will share the vision of the organization with the team. And because he has the ability to lead and also be led, right? People, his team would actually run with that vision and make it their own. That's why I love this style of leadership very much. People make the vision their own and they run with it. And they can communicate effectively. A transformational leader has the power to communicate. And that's why when he communicates, he can then step back and allow his people to lead and to just run things. And you see that the organization moves and it thrives, right? They also are very self-aware. So a transformational leader is very much self-aware. He's authentic, he's empathetic, and he's also very humble. It takes a humble person to lead and be led. So it takes a humble person to sometimes step back and allow his leader and allow his team to lead. It takes a very strong, self-aware, authentic, humble person to be able to do that. Now, a transformational leader also inspires his team members and he holds himself accountable. That's the beautiful thing about it. You know, when he takes the step back and allows his team to lead, he understands perfectly that this team can make mistakes. He is a vision carrier and he has shared his vision with his team. And then he's stepping back to allow his team to lead. Now, he also understands that his team is learning and they can make mistakes. But interestingly, a transformational leader takes into account the mistakes that his team makes and he takes responsibilities for those mistakes. Why is he taking responsibilities? Because he's the one that has pushed them forward to lead. So if they make a mistake, he sees himself as, oh, probably I did not teach them well. And he knows the areas to make amends. That's why I love this leadership style very much, very, very much. In fact, every business owner should embrace this type of leadership style. It's empowering. It's empowering. And you have no idea the number of people you can empower by just, adopting this leadership style. You are empowering people, and what you're doing is, you know you are transferring yourself to another person. So you're giving another person your power, the power to lead, right? And you trust them to do what you can do. And that's very empowering. That's very, very empowering. People leave you having, the mindset that, oh, I can actually do so much, right? People leave you believing in themselves and believing in the ability that they have. It's really, really empowering. So I'm going to stop um, at this point, and I just wish I could make this interactive and maybe people could join. Yeah, I think I can. If people can join in, to just share their thoughts on what we have talked about tonight. So if you want to join, I think especially on Instagram, I think you can join in live. If you want to join, just let me know. I think you can press a request to join live, and then I can accept you into the live, and then you share your thoughts with us. That will be really interesting if we can have people join in live. So I'm just going to give it a few minutes and see if I can get any requests to join live, especially on Instagram. Um, if you want to request to join live and share your thoughts, and let's just bounce ideas off each other and learn from each other. Okay. And of course, if you have questions as well, you can throw in the questions. You can throw in questions in the comment section, or you can request to join the live video and ask your questions. And let's make it as interactive as possible. I want us to make this video at least within 25 to 30 minutes. That would be great. So I'm just gonna give it a few minutes to see if people want to join in. If you want to join in live, just send the requests. Hello. I see people still joining. So if you want to join in live into the video, just send a request and I'll accept, and then you ask your questions or you share your thoughts, or if you have any contributions at all, you can contribute to the learning. I hope it's been a rewarding time. I hope it's been a good one. So we're going to do the second part of this training next week, Thursday, same time next week, Thursday. We would come in again to do the second part of this training so that we can finish up. We still have 1, 2, 3, and 4 more leadership styles to talk about. So by next week, Thursday, we will do this again and complete the last set of the 4 leadership styles. Okay, so in the absence of any live requests to join the video, and in the absence of any questions whatsoever, I'm going to say thank you so much to everyone who has joined us on this video. Thank you so much for joining us. Highly appreciated. Highly appreciated. Thank you. This is how they do it, right? The love sign, yeah. Thank you so much. So we'll do this again next week, Thursday, and I look forward to seeing you. Thank you so much. Thank you. But in the meantime, if you still have questions, please don't hesitate to, put them up in the comment sections, and we'll try as much as possible to answer everything. So see you again next week, and God bless you. Mwah. Bye.